This is the voice of the big British castle, coming live from the Glastonbury festival. Everyone's nude and covered in mud and dancing round and round, except for Adam and Joe, who are wearing protective suits and nuclear boots.
Come on, that is the Wombles with Remember You're a Womble. This is Adam and Joe here at Glastonbury live. We're standing right by the pyramid stage in the mud and the slurry. It's very exciting. And how are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing very well. Something strange has happened, listeners.
What's happened?
Well, we sent out a call on last week's show for any listeners who were here at Glastonbury to join us outside the left gate, outside the pyramid stage at 10 a.m. We are now outside the left gate at the pyramid stage at 10 a.m. And lo and behold, there's 60 million Black Squadron members.
Hey! Look at that, that's the sound of the squadron.
Now that's real. I mean, that's not just a sound effect we loaded up. Sorry, my stomach's having a few problems. Had a kebab.
The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you right now that we're right by the pyramid stage, and that sound, the strange sound you can hear there, is David Bowie's spaceship landing. He's just come down to Earth. He's been talking to some tall Venusians. And he's now joined us in the mud. We've asked him to keep it down. Obviously, it's a little disruptive, but the pyramid stage sound guys are on board. I had a little fight with one of them yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, a little rock. I pushed him in the mud. And
did you?
We were rolling around a little bit. I teased him, and he teased me back. And
I'm going to be disappointed if this is a lie.
It is a little bit of a lie.
I'm disappointed.
Sorry, mate.
Hey, hello, Black Squadron. Again, hello. Hello. Thank you very much, everybody, for turning out. Some of you have even printed out your taffin masks. We put some pictures of Pierce Brosnan on the blog, and some people have cut them out and are wearing them. Should we talk to this? Why don't we? This gentleman's coming forward. Oh, hello, sir. What's your name?
My name's Ian.
Ian, and you're holding your taffin mask. You're not wearing it. Why?
Yeah, it was all a bit of a last-minute rush on Tuesday evening. Print it off at work, take it home, cut it out.
How would you feel if, as punishment, the rest of the Black Squadron tore you to shreds?
Maybe a little harsh, but understandable.
Well, you know what Black Squadron's like. It is harsh. We're tough. It's tougher than the SAS.
Well, but we should stand the squadron to attention with the jingle, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should.
So we got Mike at Central Control, covered in mud there. Mike, are you ready to fire off the Black Squadron jingle on my command? 1, 2, 3, go for it!
Black Squadron! Always catch the beginning of the show. Black Squadron don't want to miss a thing. That's not the way Black Squadron roll. Went to bed at a reasonable hour. Gotta be sharp on Saturday morning. That's the secret of the squadron's power. Black Squadron!
There you go, live Black Squadroning here. The squadron is standing to attention. They are fully erect and looking very good. Not too muddy at all, actually, considering we are in an absolute mud slurry deluge situation after a day of heavy rain yesterday here at the festival. But they're looking good, and a few taffin masks here. David, is there any way you could turn off your spaceship just for this?
This is the most sinister of all taffin masks.
What's your name, sir?
Pete.
Hey, Pete. Describe, Joe, what Pete has done with this mask.
Well, he's sort of cut the eyes out in a terrifying Sackboy way, as if he'd actually ripped the flesh off Pierce Brosnan's face.
It looks exactly like the bit in Silence of the Lambs where Anthony Hopkins stuffs up a security guard, then removes his face as a disguise.
Say, put the lotion in the basket.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Very good.
Oh, wait, was she a great big fat person?
So listen, there's one thing we should do here with Black Squadron, is to reconstruct the now classic scene from Taffin.
I think we should wait a little bit. That'll be the climax of our encounter with the squadron.
I can't wait.
We've got so much to talk to them all about. We want to find out about yesterday's surprise guests who were over at the park stage. We want to find out how they're dealing with the adverse conditions here at the festival. But right now, here's some music. This is Kool and the Gang and Jungle Boogie.
Steady on.
Good effort, Kool and the Gang. That's Jungle Boogie. Hey, this is Adam and Joe here on BBC Six Music. Saturday morning, we are here with Black Squadron. About, I would say...
Sorry, Adam, James's telephone's ringing.
Oh, James has got to
get that. Thank you, James. Sorry, carry on.
I would say around about 1,000 people here with us outside the pyramid stage. I mean, I'm slightly making that up because all I can see is the front few rows of people. I'm too short to see how far the crowd goes back. But in my mind, it's like thousands. Yesterday, here at Glastonbury, a rumour went round that Radiohead would be playing on the Park stage as the big surprise guests, and it turned out to be untrue.
Oh, that's a shame.
Scooch came out, and they were amazing. They played a blinding set.
But apparently people were angry that Scooch are on such a small stage that some people couldn't hear their hits.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it took ages to get to the Scooch field, and there was a little revolution. And what happened in the end was that the crowd got so out of control that Radiohead decided they would play.
Right.
After all. Coral is over here. She's a squadron member. How are you doing, Coral?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very, very good. You've painted your face beautiful, like a fairy.
Thank you. It's all glittery.
When did you paint your face?
This morning. It's actually my friend did it. It took her about 40 minutes.
She did a great job. Now, Coral, you went over to see Radiohead yesterday over at the Park stage, and we were sat in the BBC compound before that kicked off at 8 o'clock, and there were urgent messages coming through on the radio saying, they're shutting down the Park stage, there's too many people, it's out of control, it's getting dangerous. How was it in reality?
Well, I actually got there 4 hours early, so I was at the front. I mean, I watched previously, I think they were Warpaint and then Bad. So as I was there, just more and more people kept arriving, and my friends were on their way, and I phoned them to say, you're not going to get in. And it was just insane. I mean, I'm quite short, so I couldn't see behind me, but when I looked, it just went on forever, and there was people stood up on the hill at the Stone Circle trying to watch. It was quite insane.
And what was the reaction when, because presumably by that time most people knew that it was Radiohead that were going to pop out, but how did the crowd respond when Tom came out, and what did he start playing? What was their first number?
They went wild. I think he played Lotus Flower first. He came out and started dancing. Everyone just went mental, basically.
And was it smiley Tom we got yesterday, or slightly taciturn Tom, grumpy Tom? Like Morrissey was a little bit grumpy, I noticed, maybe because he was unhappy about being up against Radiohead. But was Tom on good form?
Yeah, I've only ever seen smiley Tom when I've seen Radiohead, so yeah, he was on great form. He was dancing around, he was making little jokes. It was really good.
Because one of the last times that Radiohead were here, I think, at Glastonbury, was one of their massive gigs where they had all kinds of technical problems, didn't they? Which really freaked them out playing live for a long time. So I guess it must have been a sort of nice triumphant return for them, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they really enjoyed it. They came out for an encore at the end and everything. They seemed really thrilled with the response and everyone there and how it turned out.
Excellent. Hey, thanks a lot, Coral. Nice to talk to you, and I love your face.
Thank you.
Right, now, should we play a little bit more music before engaging the squadron? Mumford & Sons, did they play yesterday? Yeah, they were on the other stage last night. Now, Joe, do you like Mumford best or the Sons?
I find the Sons a little bit annoying. They all tend to do four-player Mario Kart together, and they're very loud and competitive. And Mummy Mumford has to come and tick them off.
Yeah, well, Mumford, she's quite strict, though, isn't she? She makes the Sons eat cucumber and carrot batons.
She's huge and maternal. She's got 8 breasts. She feeds all the Sons from them. That's all right. It's just farm talk.
Here they are, recorded live on the other stage from Glastonbury last night. This is Mumford & Sons. There you go. That was Mumford & Sons that you heard there before. We are inside a band.
We're just where we were, but the sound check has begun on the Pyramid stage. Oh, it stopped. Fantastic. Okay. We think that could be a different colour squadron trying to subvert this morning's event.
Now, this is Adam and Joe here live at Glastonbury, and we are with Black Squadron, the elite listening force that listened to the show live for the first half hour.
What was that, squadron?
And
Stephen! They were on point this morning.
That's proper. So before we take our leave of the squadron and go back to our porter cabin, we have some taffin business that we need to deal with, don't we, guys? So who has now seen the film Taffin and enjoyed it thoroughly?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Sort of 8 people.
8 slightly insane people. But what we're going to do is recreate for you that pivotal scene right now. So are you going to be Bronholm?
No, I'm not going to be Bronholm.
Okay, I'm going to be Bronholm.
And yes, this is perfect Taffin music. This is the music Taffin likes to make love to.
Rob is here, he's a squadron member, and he's going to be the lady in the Taffin scene. Hey Rob, how you doing?
I'm very well indeed, thank you.
And you know your lines?
I know some of them, yes.
Squadron, are you ready? Yeah! Here we go for some live Taffin action. And the scene begins with Bronholm sat in the sofa saying, "What goes on in this town is none of your business.
Well, as long as I'm living here, it is my business.
Thank you very
That was
much, Black
incredible.
Squadron, live at Glastonbury
Black Squadron,
2011.
we salute you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for listening, and thank you for being amazing.
Right now on Six Music, it's time for Jimmy Cliff. This was recorded last night here at the Glastonbury Festival. We'll rejoin you very soon. Take care. Here's Jimmy. That's the Eels, and this is Adam and Joe here live at Glastonbury.
Yeah, we've just returned to our little porter cabin, having met our Black Squadron members who were fantastic. They all came out in force, didn't they?
We really genuinely expected to see maybe 5 people.
When we walked out there, it looked like there were about 10 squadron members, but then suddenly people from all around started gathering.
It was incredible. And squadron members at home as well. You are part of a wonderful, good-looking, intelligent family, and we salute you. But we should stand you down right now if you're listening. So here's the stand down jingle.
Black Squadron! Stand down, your work is done. You've earned yourself a nice warm bath and maybe a nice little bun.
Now, of course, if you were at home, you didn't receive a command, don't feel left out. That's part of the psychological challenge for Black Squadron members, to deal with the fact that, you weren't able to get here, so weren't able to be involved in that, but don't feel bad.
No, exactly. Because you can take heart in the fact that myself and Joe are now drunk out of our minds on power. I feel amazing that we had that huge gang of people out there, and I've suddenly got much too big for my boots.
Really? I noticed that, yeah.
I can't take them off anymore. I tried to take them off when I came in here, but there's no way they're coming off because I'm
They're
so
bulging. They look like the Incredible Hulk's trousers.
Yeah, exactly. My calves are spilling over the tops of the boots. I'm getting very demanding. I've demanded that Lucy goes and gets me a fruit pot, and not a fruit pot like I had this morning, which was a disgrace. It looked nice on the top, had some strawberries and oranges, but then the rest of the fruit pot was mainly watermelon. It was just a mulch of watermelon.
You're right. You've really changed.
Yeah, I have changed, and I don't want to ever see that kind of fruit pot again, that kind of slush, all right?
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but you be bad cop, I'll be good cop and say a sincere thank you to every single member of Black Squadron here at Glastonbury who turned out this morning. That was cockle warming.
Absolutely. And I think what we're going to do as well, if you...
In fact, my cockles are overheating.
Hey, easy with your... Whoa, there's a big patch appearing on your jeans there.
Steady on.
Cornballs. You want to put it out and just chuck some water on it. There you go. So we're going to be going out once again to see the squadron after the show. If you are here at Glastonbury, then let it be known that we will come out and hang for a while after the show finishes around about 1. Maybe do our podcast links there.
We've got some nonsense T-shirts we can give you if you're still here and you want to meet us just in the same sort of place by the gate to the left of the pyramid stage at about maybe 5 or 10 past 1.
Can't guarantee that everyone will get a T-shirt, I'm sorry to say, because we grossly underestimated the incredibly large numbers that we were going to be dealing with.
Yeah, there was a feeding frenzy over the T-shirts.
Absolutely. But it's nice out there. It's no longer raining. It was raining the whole of yesterday, more or less. The forecast is good today. The sun isn't out yet, but the skies are clearing, and it's all looking good for Glastonbury. So let's have some more music right now and then resume our normal nonsense after this. What have we got here, James? Primal Scream. Oh, a bit of Primal Scream. Is this live from yesterday? Here they are. It's the Screamers. Primal Scream. They headlined the other stage last night at Glastonbury. Last time they played in 2005, they had to be taken off stage by officials for overrunning.
Quite right, they're very naughty.
Absolutely the naughtiest bunch of rapscallions around. I think it's time we had a bit of Retro Text the Nation, don't you, James? Let's fire off the jingle.
I like to listen to Adam and Joe, but I listen to the podcast, not the live show. I used to feel acute frustration, cause I couldn't join in with Text the Nation. But now my troubles have disappeared, because Retro Text the Nation's here. And now my letter might be read out, instead of thrown in the bin and forgotten about.
Wow, what a jingle.
It's amazing jingle.
It's so moving. I think we should have half an hour of silence just to let that jingle resonate.
I mean, it would be good, I suppose, in a way for you, Joe Cornish, if one of the bands here at Glastonbury was to cover that.
It's probably going to happen.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah, I'd imagine one of the exciting secret acts.
It does sound like a Coldplay track.
What am I supposed to say to that?
You're supposed to be flattered. They're headlining the Pyramid stage tonight, you know?
Yeah.
It sounds like one of the good Coldplay tracks.
Hey, thanks.
Sounds amazing. I can see Martin sitting there with sweat beading down his forehead, and
I don't think he could give it the requisite passion and emotion.
Reckon?
Yeah, he just doesn't have the voice.
That's true, isn't it? He's no cornballs.
So listen, listeners, Retro Text the Nation is, of course, the part of the show where, if you listen to the programme online or via the podcast, you can contribute to the previous week's Text the Nation subject, which was Nature War.
This was inspired by a story I had about battling nettles. I had some nettle problems outside my house.
We got quite a lot of nettle-based responses, didn't we? Some people were angered by your destruction of the nettles.
Well, Tom Mosley from Birmingham says, "Dear Adam and Joe, stop giving the nettles a bad time, guys." I'm actually going to read this in what is probably quite an offensive kind of caricature of what I imagine Tom to be.
Uh-oh.
Okay, here we go.
Strap yourself down, Tom.
Stop giving the nettles a bad time, guys. Thanks to the stinging hairs, nettles are rarely eaten by herbivores.
Is this Neil from the Young Ones?
A little bit, yeah.
Who can also be seen playing drums for the Fleet Foxes.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. So I'm imagining Tom Mosley in Birmingham with his long beard there. He's wandering around more or less nude. He's got pants made of nettles.
He survives entirely on a nettle-based diet.
He absolutely loves nettles.
He lives in a nettle house.
He says they provide long-term shelter for insects such as caterpillars and many butterflies and moths. The insects in turn provide food for small birds such as tits. As a herbal remedy, young nettles have many benefits. They can be used to treat hay fever, arthritis and anemia. An infusion of nettles in tea can be used as a blood purifier and a cleansing tonic. The plant has an anti-asthmatic, anti-dandruff, astringent diuretic and hypoglycemic properties and can be used to treat internal bleeding, hemorrhoids, eczema and other skin problems. It's also good for kidney and urinary system ailments. Nettles can also be used to curdle milk instead of rennet. Did you know that? That's useful, isn't it?
I think you're putting on that mocking accent because you're threatened by his knowledge.
I am a little bit. He says, so guys, wise up. Stop dissing this amazing plant. Us kids deserve to know better. All the best, Tom Mosley, Birmingham.
Well done, Tom. I agree with you. I think you're right. And I think you should be furious with Adam for belittling your info burst.
Well, I don't know. I still have a lot of nettle problems. I'm going to read you a poem in a little bit that someone sent in all about nettles, which I'd never seen before. But you've got a nettle, or not nettle-based, but just a nature story.
Yeah, nature taking its revenge. This is an email we got from Kit, who's a male man, and he lives in Australia, mate.
Oh, mate!
He says, "Hello, Adam Shame and Sloppy Joe."
Adam Shame?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't worry about that. Your man versus nature, nature wars, Text the Nation topic, reminded me of when I was a little boy on holidays.
A damn shame.
A damn shame. You got it. We were playing Chasey in the dark at a holiday caravan park.
Love Chasey.
No, not Love Chasey, just Chasey.
Oh.
I'm too young for Love Chasey.
I love Chasey.
As I raced through the dark, a huge cicada flew straight into my mouth and hit me on the back of my throat.
Steady.
It was vibrating as it flew along and rattled in my mouth. I spat it out in disgust. So awful was the feeling I lay on the ground spitting for some minutes.
Oh, mate.
It's not over yet. He has a flashback. Months later, I was back in town riding my BMX down a steep hill. Oh, hello, my computer shut down. Sorry. Down a steep hill. The thought of the cicada flying into my mouth suddenly just popped into my head. I started involuntarily... What? Oh, this is a disaster.
Involuntarily, mate.
I should read it in an Australian accent.
Of course, that's where you went wrong.
I started involuntarily spitting again, as though the cicada were in my mouth, and crashed my bicycle into a lamppost, which was painful and embarrassing. Nature wins again. Bye!
Cicada in the throat. That's
Imagine
no good.
that.
Jumping around,
vibrating your
rubbing its
epiglottis
legs together underneath your uvula.
It's like something out of Silence of the Lambs.
It's absolutely hideous.
Ingesting moths.
So here's this poem that Amy sent in. She is a woman. And she says, I'm marking GCSE English exams at the moment, and one of the poems in the anthology is called Nettles by Vernon Scannell. listening to Adam's discussion about the nettles in his garden, it reminded me of the protective father in this poem, slashing away at the nettles in revenge for his son's nettle stings. So I'm going to read you a poem right now, listeners.
Who's this poem by?
This is Victor Scannell.
Okay.
And he was born in 1922, a British poet and author, a one-time professional boxer. He also wrote novels about the sport.
What kind of voice are you going to use to read the poem?
Now, that's a good question. I mean, I'm thinking sort of Radio 4 sonorous.
Yes, very close and soothing.
Yeah, to make this kind of, classy.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
It's the kind of thing Bob Dylan might do on Theme Time Radio Hour, suddenly read a poem.
Could you do it in a Bob voice?
Okay.
My son, age 3, fell in the nettled bed. Bed seems like a curious name for those green spears. That regiment of...
That's not a good Bob Dylan voice.
I'm enjoying it.
That regiment of spite behind the shed. It was no place for rest. With sobs and tears, the boy came seeking comfort, and I saw white blisters beaded on his tender skin. We smoothed him till his pain was not so raw. At last he offered us a watery grin, and then I took my bill hook, honed the blade, and went outside and slashed in fury with it, till not a nettle in that fierce parade stood upright anymore. And then I lit a funeral pyre to burn the fallen dead. But in 2 weeks the busy sun and rain had called up tall recruits behind the shed. My son would often feel sharp wounds again.
Victor,
that's very deep.
Vernon Scannell. I think I said Victor before.
It's very deep. That was very beautifully read. I mean, there was a little bit of a stumble, but Bob's old.
Bob's old. I mean, that wasn't my best Bob Dylan impression. In a way, I wish that I'd gone for the Radio 4 voice, but I think you've got one more just to conclude.
I do have one more. A final battle with nature. This comes from Dan Swindlehurst, who is a man boy. I don't know what that means, really.
He's like Mowgli.
He says, a few years ago, I was on holiday in Indonesia with my now ex-girlfriend. Whilst visiting temples out in the jungle, I was bitten by a spider. As any man would do, I totally ignored it. The next day, I had a high fever and mild hallucinations, but I refused to tell my then-girlfriend, as any time I complained of being ill, she would mock me mercilessly and call my manhood into question. So, feeling like I was dying, we went for a huge trek under the blazing sun to a monkey temple, where I was punched in the face by a monkey.
Monkey punch?
Wallop. Nature well and truly beat me that day. Dan Swindlehurst.
And then he says he's got a picture of the monkey as well there. Check that out, man.
Look at that. He looks quite happy having been punched by the monkey.
He's sort of happy. He says, I was so ill when I came back from Indonesia. I had to quit my job and then I lost my girlfriend. Happy times. Love you. Bye. So he's never going back. He got a monkey punch. He got ill. He lost his girlfriend. She didn't sound like a very good girlfriend, though.
That's the way monkeys greet each other.
By punching?
Yeah. Maybe it's a greeting you and I should take up. Just a quick little lamp in the face.
A little bit of a monkey punch. But I wouldn't be able to reach your face because I'm too small.
That would be a good film, Monkey Punch.
It'd be a Julie Punch. Okay, so here's some music now from one of the acts that is going to be headlining the Park stage tonight, Wild Beasts. They were here in the John Peel stage last year, and we very much enjoyed their set, and I hope we're going to be maybe meeting them later on today. But this is one of my favourite tracks from their current album, Smother. This is Bed of Nails. Bombay Bicycle Club, that's Rinse Me Down. They play the other stage tomorrow here at Glastonbury. And this is Adam and Joe. We're live from the rainy festival. It's not too bad at the moment, but
it's not too bad. White cloud at the moment. Light rain forecast for later.
But also sunshine, and it's going to get hotter and hotter. I think tomorrow's going to be a scorcher.
But yesterday, we went along to the press tent to pick up some vital pieces of paper.
Here's what happened. Hey, we're at the press tent. It's right in the middle of the festival, and we've just been issued with the list of questions that absolutely every journalist or media person has to use when conducting interviews or chatting to anyone about the festival at all.
As everybody knows, the Glastonbury Festival started out as a free-for-all, and now it's a rigorously controlled environment. Every element prescribed by higher forces, including questions and answers asked both by journalists to celebrities and asked between friends.
So let's see how we deal with these. We're just going to ask each other a few of these. Joe, tent or teepee?
Tent or teepee? I love that question.
Yeah.
I would go for a teepee tent.
Uh-huh.
It's a combination of a tent and a teepee. It's the worst of both things. It's drafty and flimsy, difficult to erect.
I would go for a peepee tent, which is just a tiny tent that you have around your Netherlands, and it's somewhere where you can just whistle while you work. Which is a fun song that was in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, if you remember. It's good because you might be in the middle of a big crowd and you don't want to go and find the nearest lavatory. You can use your peepee tent.
I'm going to ask you one of these standard questions now, Adam. What was your first Glastonbury memory?
That's a great question, man.
Thanks.
I guess my first memory would have been shortly after I was born. I don't know if you know, but I was birthed on the Glastonbury tour by friendly wizards and a couple of tall Venusians who were passing through. My mother was the Earth. Don't know if you know her. She's very nice, but she's a bit beaten up now. My father was the Sun. So I suppose my first memory really was Michael Eavis coming over to me and asking me if I wanted to work on the farm. To which I said, yes, I'd love to, and I've been here ever since. How about you?
I think you have false memory syndrome.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to skip that question.
Are you? You can't skip the questions.
Well, I have to, because you're going to ask me this next question.
All right, mate. Here you go. Here's one for you. Oh, this is a great one. I love this question.
Okay.
Who are you most looking forward to seeing? Oh. Sorry, I just fell asleep. I'm awake now. I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine.
That's a good question. Well, there's various approaches to that question.
Yeah.
I mean, approach A is I just name one of the headline acts.
Sure.
That's the way to get
Go
in.
on, do it now.
Beyonce.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. That's a good answer.
Or, if I want to give myself a little more credibility,
Yeah.
I might name somebody from one of the lesser stages that no one's heard of. Like the Barboobity Eyes,
Yeah.
who will be playing their points of view set on the Crapola stage.
Over and over
tonight.
again.
Over and over again.
Play Bob Boobity Baya.
And approach C would be to say something absurd, like the Ordinary Boys.
Right. Here's who I'm most looking forward to seeing. One of the Wombles. Maybe either one of the Wombats or one of the Wombles. Probably I would love to see a Womble.
Which Womble would you be most excited by?
Who do you think?
Chalet.
Obviously
Of course,
Chalet.
Chalet. She's the sexy one, a
Yeah.
big sexy rat in a pinny. What man couldn't resist a big lady rat? She's got 20 breasts.
The rat in the pinny.
Yeah, that's why she wears the pinny, to conceal them. They're in a line down the centre of her.
Can you imagine
tum-tum.
that would be a good photo though, wouldn't it? Backstage before the Wombles go on, with all the Wombles gathered
Suckling
round.
on Madame Chalet.
Suckling with Madame Chalet.
It's going to happen.
Wow. I would love to get into that little huddle. The rumours are flying around the site about all kinds of special guests. What I'm most looking forward to is maybe one of the Wombles tearing off their big foamy heads and there being someone exciting and celebrity-based underneath there. I mean, I heard Lauren talking about the idea that maybe Florence from Florence and the Machine was going to be under one of the rat hoods.
I heard another rumour. I heard that Uncle Bulgaria was going to pull off his own head,
Yeah.
which will be traumatic for the audience to begin with, to reveal Florence.
Yeah.
And then 5 to 10 minutes later, after Florence has sung the things that she sings,
Yep.
she would then pull her head off
Whoa.
to reveal
Rolf.
nothing inside. She's actually pulled her head off.
Oh, yeah, so it's just blood.
It's just horrific.
That's
just
horrific. That's absolutely horrific.
But it's very memorable.
Well, a more fun thing, obviously, would be is if she pulled her head off and Roffle Harris was under there.
Yes, that would be more memorable.
It's Roffle Harris! Oh, mate! And then he'd get out his swabble board and everyone would be happy and the sun would come out. Maybe that's why it's a bit rainy, because Roffle isn't here this year.
There we are. Those are the standard Glastonbury questions. And if you're at the festival, be sure you've got your answers ready, because they are the only questions that are allowed to be asked.
Correct. Very nice. That was the Vaccines with a track called If You Wanna, recorded live here at the festival yesterday. Live.
Why do you say live?
Live. That's how Westwood says it, isn't it?
Live.
Live.
He would say live.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Live.
If it's pure fire, lick it twice.
That's what Westwood would say. And then you play it again.
Adam and Joe, yeah, here at Glastonbury.
Adam and Joe, yeah.
All in check. Are you going to comment on every single thing?
Yes. It's my new thing. It's my new thing. Don't you like it?
Yeah,
I just
I do.
sit here and... well, that's what I usually do anyway. But listen, listeners, it's time for some travelling tales.
Let's have the jingle jungle.
Traveling tales, tales of traveling on a train or an automobile or an aeroplane. I want to know what your traveling tales.
All aboard the Skyliner!
I mean, we all do it. We've all got to get from A to B.
Yeah.
And we do it in the company of strange human beings.
It's a universal thing.
And sometimes peculiar situations arise, and that's what this segment is all about. I've got one here. Can I start, please,
Go on, then.
Dad? This is from Dominic, who's in his early 30s. He's a male, and he lives in Sutton Coldfield. This says, Dear Adam, Joe, and producer. It's very good, stripped down intro. This relates to personal space on foot. not on bottom. So this is unusual. He's talking about pedestrian travelling.
Yeah, peds.
You may have noticed that some people have a habit of swinging their arms wildly when they walk, instead of holding them rigidly at their sides like normal, polite citizens. I get the popular Birmingham Cross-City train service from Sutton Coldfield to University Station for my job on or near the Birmingham University campus. At University Station, passengers disembarking get funneled up a narrow set of steps in order to exit the station. And it is on these steps that I encounter my problem. On these steps, the wild swinging arms are often at the crotch level of the person walking behind. My problem is this. Do I hang back in order to leave space in between me and the passenger in front, thereby risking the wrath of other passengers behind me who are held up and made late for work, or do I risk the very real possibility of a stray arm and hand brushing against my crotch?
He says risk it.
I do carry my work bag, which contains my sandwich and a book, but don't use this to shield my front bits, as I'd rather shield my back bits from the prying eyes of others. Many thanks, Dominic. Dominic's confused. Maybe he's got a peculiar bottom.
Oh, yeah, I mean, what's going on, Dominic? I mean, you're missing a lot of potential great times there, as far as I can tell.
I really sympathise with this as a man who is at 6'2.5", I think I am, height-wise. Yeah. And I find my crotchal area at precisely that swinging arm height.
Really?
And I love it.
Yeah, of course you do.
I manoeuvre into exactly the right position.
Yeah.
I won't go into too much detail, but boy, oh boy, oh boy. Sometimes I just go round and round the circle line, up and down stairs.
Exactly. I mean, you don't really need to travel by tube. You just pick the most busy time and get on there.
And now this hole is opening in my jeans. It's going to be a whole new level of excitement. So, Dominic, I would suggest you rip a hole in the crotch of your jeans, you neglect to wear underwear, and go for it.
Have some fun. Here's something not entirely unrelated from Kaz in Edinburgh. She says, I think it's a she, doesn't actually specify. You see, this is why the whole male-man, lady-woman thing came in, because Kaz, I've no idea if that's a lady man or anyway. Kaz says, I was recently travelling by train from Aberdeen. At a table across from the aisle from me, there was a female lady that kept giving me withering looks as I giggled to myself whilst listening to one of your podcasts on my iPod. However, I was then the one giving her odd looks, as she took a tin of fragrant deodorant spray from her bag and sprayed it up her miniskirt. As this odd, sweet smell filled the carriage.
Have you read this through before reading it now? Yeah.
It's one of the last shows we're at Glastonbury. All I could think of, he says, as this odd sweet smell filled the carriage, all I could think of was that we were smelling cheap spray infused with lady parts from Kaz in Edinburgh. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? That's not a fun smell, I don't think. Now, I don't know, maybe it is a fun smell. It's strange when women do their toilet on the train. And when I say toilet, I mean makeup routines. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean actually going to the lavatory.
You are digging a big, dirty hole for yourself.
What? Come on, that's a fun dirty hole. You're the one riding around on the circle line with the big hole in your trousers, pressing up against people.
Yeah. That's a good one. Wow, what an extraordinary series of pictures you've painted in everyone's mind. Is that it for Travelling Tales?
I've got one more here. This is a nice view from an American.
American. How very exotic.
I'm not going to do an American accent for him. You'll have to imagine that for yourself, listeners. But he says, his name is Dylan Savage.
Dylan Savage. He's an annihilator.
He says, Dear Adenoid and Buxonator, I'm a postal worker man from Memphis, Tennessee, and I recently returned from a vacation in the UK and Ireland. On the train from Edinburgh, on the train to Edinburgh from York, after a delay, we were about a minute down the track before someone pulled the emergency lever, or lever, as I think the Americans call it, in the carriage behind me. The sardonic, though at the moment irate Scottish conductor rushed down the aisle and shouted, "You pulled the Franklin lever? For what?" I later learned that he had broken up a fight and thrown the man off the train, and that's why someone had pulled the lever, and he didn't think it was sufficiently important.
What, a man had been thrown from a travelling train?
Yeah, the Scottish conductor. You're off! I don't care if we're not in the station. No, they were at the station and there was a fight and they stopped. My girlfriend and I were then sitting at a table seat across the aisle from some rough people from Newcastle who were a little bit drunk and kept shouting out lyrics along with their iPods. "We will give them the axe! he says, was one of the lyrics that they shouted out from there. I don't know what they could have been listening to there. And they were also yelling at people who made the mistake of walking by. This was one of my first experiences in what became a wonderful and surreal trip in the UK. I later saw a woman in a bus station in Galway feed her toddler by pouring Coke into a baby bottle and then shaking it up to shoot the carbonation out of the rubber nipple. I got the impression that she did this quite often. P.S. I spent the whole time annoying my girlfriend by saying things to her in an Australian accent. Please keep doing it. I'm a big fan of Aussie accents. Thanks, mate. Cheers, Dylan Savage.
Wow.
So that's nice. We might have some more travelling tales later on in the programme.
Yes, we might.
Come on.
But how about this now? This was recorded live yesterday on the Pyramid stage. This is a hip-hop group. You might have heard of them. They're called the Wu-Tang Clan.
Now, what is Gravel Pit about? What's all that about?
Well, let's listen and find out. But, you know, I saw this performance on the telly as part of the BBC's brilliant televisual coverage of the festival, and somebody somewhere in the BBC had done a very good job of dipping out the swears. And I was very impressed because basically you can't hear a word they're saying.
Right.
They're just kind of free-form, you know, stream of consciousness, mumble rapping. But someone in the BBC knows the Wu's lyrics so well, they managed to dip out the swearies. Is that the version we're going to hear now? Will it have swearies dipped out? So yeah, marvel at the incredible swear removal skills of the BBC.
Pass the sweary dip.
Good stuff.
Wu-Tang Clan recorded live yesterday, but I mean, I could do that.
No, you couldn't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
could.
couldn't. No,
You
you
just
couldn't.
give me
No,
a
you
beat
couldn't.
and
You
you go
couldn't.
and just
You
go.
You're just revealing your ignorance.
I mean, it was because it's a live thing. I'm not talking about rapping, all rapping.
I thought that last night. I thought they're just mumbling. They're saying anything you want. But I listened very carefully there with the lyrics open here on my laptop, and they were very much on point. All the lyrics were correct. And there's a lot of lyrics to remember. If you're a hip-hop artist, you've got to remember 500% more than your average rock artist.
That's absolutely true, isn't it? Yeah. Do you often see rappers out there with lyric sheets, Marquis Smith style, when they're performing live?
No, I don't think you could. You couldn't read it fast enough because you've got to hold the rhythm in your head, haven't you?
It's now acceptable in rock to do it if you're a certain type of performer. Shaun Ryder used to do it.
To have an auto cue.
Well, just to have a big, grubby piece of paper on stage.
The RZA was word for word perfect there. Method Man was word for word perfect. But from my following of the lyrics here, I think Method went off script maybe on the third verse. It was very, very disappointing. We're going to have to give him a talking to.
You know, later on in this programme, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be playing you a pre-recorded encounter that we had with Robin Pecknold of the Fleet Foxes.
Yeah, and if you've ever Stevened at a Fleet Foxes concert, you might want to hear what Mr. Pecknold has to say about that. We grilled him on his feelings about that whole phenomena, because it is a phenomena.
A phenomenon. Even.
Being reported widely by John Travolta.
Sure, and that is coming up later on in the programme, maybe in the next half hour?
After 12.
Yeah, okay, after 12. But right now, here's some more music. This is The Naked and Famous, and a track called Punching a Dream, recorded live yesterday. Mark Bolan and T-Rex there, 20th Century Boy. Mark Bolan played the very first Glastonbury Festival, stepped in for the Kinks, who decided not to make it. And Mike Leavis tells a story about going up to Mark Bolan's car as he was driving in onto the site. He had a fancy car, and Mike Leavis went over to say hello and kind of put his arm on the side of the car to greet Mark. And Mark said, "Hey, don't touch my car, man." That's not very cool, is it?
That's not very cool. It must have been a nice car.
Yeah. This is Adam and Joe here on BBC Six Music. Six Music are broadcasting live all day from the Glastonbury Festival, so stick with us. But right now, it's gone 11:30. It's time for the news. Yes, that's Queens of the Stone Age, mate, from 2002.
Suitably prehistoric there. There is a slight Stone Age vibe here at the Glastonbury Festival, as everyone is covered in mud and behaving in a primitive way.
Razor.
Give me my beer.
Razor.
Get beer.
Oh, you got deodorant? You lend me your deodorant?
Hey, do you want some interesting facts about one of tonight's headliners?
Only if they're stone cold facts. I mean, I don't want any of this silliness.
Things were a little silly yesterday with the U2 facts. But today, these are absolutely solid gold facts about the mighty Coldplay.
Are they from the home of all facts, the internet?
Here's the jingle.
Prepare the factual generator.
I can't think it's working now.
Now give me Glastonbury facts.
Oh, now it's broken again.
So it is a little bit damaged, the factual generator.
Okay.
But let's see how we get on. Did you know, and these are facts about some of the members of Coldplay, particularly Chris and Gwyneth. I don't know if you know, but Gwyneth writes all the songs.
Mm-hmm.
First interesting fact there, that's by the by. Chris and Gwyneth are both extremely health-conscious individuals, and they follow a strict diet that was specially created for them by Gennaro Contaldo. He's one of the two greedy Italians. Breakfast for the family consists of dried plankton on a bed of Wotsits, followed by a bowl of flaked bark with rainwater and a glass of Bizique to wash it all down. For lunch, the couple enjoy the dreams of X Factor contestants. And the reason they love those is because they're very low in fat. And then for supper, it's a lollibiff.
Lollibiff. Lollibiff.
What was the first one? What was the first one again?
Breakfast. Well, it's what I had this morning. What we had at the
Plankton
hotel.
on Wotsits.
Dried plankton on a bed of Wotsits.
Well, are the Wotsits healthy?
Yeah, they crush them.
They crush them.
So they're easier to digest.
They're very absorbent, so they soak up all the bad bacteria.
Also, sometimes, depending on your digestive system, they repeat on you, so you can have them for later.
Gets rid of the bad air.
Exactly. Did you know that bass player of Coldplay, Guy Berryman, is made almost entirely... What do you mean? Oh.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited about the next thing.
Of berries.
Berries.
He's either made of berries or botanical berries. His head is a watermelon. His eyes are gooseberries. His cheeks are strawberries. His skin is mashed pumpkin, which is also a botanical berry, did you know? And his julies are made from tomatoes and a banana.
Julies are made from tomatoes and a banana. He must have to work very hard in the morning to put on the makeup. It's a bit like Michael Jackson, who had a hole in his nose. He had to put a plaster on and pour foundation over it. But that guy has to start out with a face that's an arrangement of tropical fruits.
Listen, they have to pack the guy in ice whenever they travel anywhere.
They?
Sure, because they don't want him to go all mouldery.
Wow.
Chris and Gwyneth, did you know, so I'm still drunk on power, have recently been looking for a nanny to take care of their children, Apple Cheeks, Mentos and Fizzwiz. The nanny would be paid over £65 a week. I mean, that's grotesque, isn't it? Imagine making that kind of money for a nanny. They have specified, though, that the applicants must have presented T4, must have read and loved the Da Vinci Code, and must have the ability to discreetly turn paparazzi into a delicious low-fat dip. Also, they must have fought in some kind of fashion war.
Yes.
On the winning side. Final Glastonbury fact about Coldplay. Did you know Chris Martin? I'm sure you did know this. He is a vocal activist and a supporter of a number of worthy causes, including the campaign to stop raisins from sinking in cereal boxes, to keep them buoyant throughout the whole... Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want to get to the bottom of the raisin-based cereal and find
disgusting.
a glut of raisins there. That's grotesque. He's also very much involved with the campaign to keep Grazia brilliant, or KGB. As an acronym. So he has...
That's just pushing for more exclamation marks.
Yeah, loads of more features about either Gwyneth or Jennifer Aniston.
And a more ornate font and a heavier paper stock, a glossier paper stock.
KGB, keep Grazia brilliant. He's got it written on his thighs, I think. And also he's involved very much with the campaign to minimise his own airborne toxic events. MATE, or MATE. Because in the past... Martin's events have caused a great deal of unrest and happiness.
Yes.
And unhappiness.
They had to ground transatlantic flights, didn't they?
That's right. There's a toxic cloud last year, if you remember, that caused a lot of problems for holiday makers.
Queues at airports.
Yeah.
The stench.
So anyway, he's obviously gutted about that, and he's battling to stop it ever happening again. That's Glastonbury Facts for today.
I love that jingle. That's such a good jingle. When did you record that jingle?
Oh, man. We went into Maida Vale to record it last week.
Great.
With an orchestra.
Great.
Cost a lot of money. A lot of money. Right now, here's a band that played yesterday on the Park stage. This is Caribou with Melody Day.
That was Caribou with a track called Melody Day, which was recorded yesterday on the Park stage. This is Adam and Joe coming to you live from the Glastonbury Festival.
And we've been joined in our porter cabin by Sinead Garvin. How are you doing, Sinead?
I'm very good. Day 2, survived.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
And how are you bearing up? Because you're wandering around there. It takes ages. It takes like twice as long as it normally would to traverse the site, doesn't it?
It does. The mud. Actually, when I went to bed last night, I still felt like my legs felt like they were still ploughing through mud. You know, that weird feeling you get. But yeah, I survived, and it was a very good day yesterday. Lots of highlights. The park stage was pretty special because we were talking about it yesterday. Who were the special guests going to be?
And did you know at that stage that it was going to be Radiohead when we were talking to you?
Yeah. Well, do you know what I did? People had told me, but then, you know, they could have been lying, because people have been lying to me all week.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of
just
lying.
Just in your home life and personal relationships.
Yes, it's been a bad week.
This isn't the time for that kind of thing.
Well, you know, Ed O'Brien is a friend of the show here, and I texted him the other day, like a week ago, when I heard all these rumours, and I was trying to be cool about it and say, you know, hey, maybe I'll see you down at Glastonbury, so let me know if you guys play anything or, you know, do any sets. I'd love to see you. Anyway, cool beans, yeah, cool guys. And I was trying to communicate the fact that I wasn't immediately going to blab on air about it, because in the past I have slightly put my foot in it with Radiohead secrets. So I definitely wasn't going to say anything about it, but I also didn't want to miss out, right? Yeah. And Ed just texted me back, oh yeah, I heard that rumour. It would be amazing, wouldn't it? It would be such fun. I'd love it if we were, but no, we're definitely not. So I thought,
sneaky.
He lied right
He
to
lied.
my phone. He texted me yesterday after the thing and said, sorry, I felt really bad about it.
Can I just boast that I knew first?
Yeah, Joe said
I knew first. When did I know? Last Saturday.
How did you know?
I can't tell you, Sinead.
No, exactly, otherwise they'll be executed.
But
I thought Cornballs knows and I don't know. And then I didn't get the facts verified. It was just a string of humiliations. In the end, I just trudged up there as fast as I could. It took me 45 minutes.
Adam was having a crisis of confidence. He was in our little cabin. He was going, should I go? Should I not go? And you went, which is the right choice.
I went, but I couldn't get close enough to see anything.
Well, you got in, though. That's because they shut it off after a while. You couldn't get into the park
it off?
Yeah, closed off. I think it's the biggest crowd that's ever been at the park stage. And if you know what it's like, it's kind of like flat for a bit, and then it goes up on a hill. And all of that, where the big Glastonbury sign is, all of that was completely covered.
And someone was saying to me that there was a PA from a nearby tent that was a little loud and threatening to drown out some of the
I got relatively close, and I could see the stage, and there was a strange audio anomaly where I was standing, where the sound was really very clear.
Yeah.
But I was stood right next to a cafe that was playing blaring house music. And they didn't turn it down.
Oh, you think
mate.
Respect.
Yeah, but it was a good set, presumably, was it?
It was, yes. Well, I got right into the crowd to sort of, you know, do a little live from there, and I was given a security guard to help me get through, which was quite exciting. So, yeah, I got quite far in front. And what was lovely was just how happy they all looked on stage. And they started off with Lotus Flower, which is obviously one of the tracks from the new album. And I think they were kind of like, what are people going to think of it? But we need to do this. It's the first time they've ever played any of these tracks live, and the response was fantastic. It was really good, you know, up especially where I was. I think people were just very excited that they were that close to them, and he was smiling the whole way through, Tom York, and, you know, laughing with the crowd, and, you know, chatting to the guys up on the hill on the side and everything. So it was really lovely.
And was it hits, or was it some weird stuff? Or?
It wasn't. They played most of King of Limbs, interspersed with a few things. They finished with Street Spirit, which was fantastic, and kind of was what people were waiting for, some of like the bigger numbers, because it was raining at that point, and it's, you know, 8 o'clock at night. People were cold. The mud was getting horrendous at that point. So I think some people were a little bit disappointed that there weren't more kind of crowd pleasers, if you like. But I mean, it was still fantastic. But I did hear, I couldn't see where I was, but I did hear that sort of 3/4 of the way through, people started to sort of drift off and leave, and maybe to go and get their spot for, I don't know, U2 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I spoke to quite a lot of the crowd afterwards, and yeah, it was kind of like mixed. It was like, yeah, amazing to be that close to Radiohead, but we needed a few more of the bigger numbers. But still, how special is that? You're never going to, you know, see them on such a small stage again.
Sinead, let's play some music right now, and then perhaps can we come back and talk to you about U2?
Yes, why not?
Excellent. So we've got some big audio dynamite right now, and they were playing yesterday on the park stage. Did you see them, incidentally?
I did see a couple of their tracks. That's fantastic. How great is Mick Jones? He's still going, still fantastic. Loving it. More energy than some of the kids on there.
Well, this is V13 from yesterday. Big audio dynamite. Back the original lineup touring around the UK this summer, if you missed them at Glastonbury. But we're here with Sinead Garvin. How you doing, Sinead?
Good, yes.
And U2 were the big headliners yesterday.
They were, yes. So we talked about it a bit yesterday, the potential controversy with the protesters.
That's right.
Yeah, there wasn't much of that around. Didn't
Well,
really
there was
see.
a balloon.
There was a
There was a
balloon.
giant sausage-shaped balloon.
It got pushed away quite quickly.
Some security men came in and hiked it down.
What did it say anything on the sausage?
It said what they wanted to say, about taxes and that.
Yeah.
And they inflated. It seemed to be behind a weird bit of wall. It's like there was one segment of wall. Maybe they were using it to
protest
conceal
wall.
the balloon. Yeah.
Right.
They inflated it. It very quickly got pulled down by security folks. There was a minor scuffle, I think, but mainly the audience seemed to be cheering for it being taken down. Maybe it was obstructing people's view.
I think so, yes.
But it was quite a pro bono, that's a legal phrase.
But there was kind of that weird sort of like the crowd didn't know whether they should be really enjoying it, and Bono and that didn't really know whether the crowd were, and then they kind of got into it, I think. The only complaint I heard was from people just at the end. They were doing the great version of With or Without You, and that was a big moment, and then they carried on and did a couple of other songs that people didn't really know very well, and then that was the end of the set. So
typical. Rip off Britain.
Yeah.
Typical.
But anyway, this was Bono just as he came off stage.
Yeah, I'm a convert. I came as a pilgrim. Now I'm a believer. The incredible generosity of spirit, it's contagious. And, there's this thing with music or art or whatever you want to call it, suspension of disbelief is the pretentious word, but you have to give yourself. These people give themselves to the music, and they gave us a chance. And we haven't played to people who are not our audience for a very long time, so it was just overwhelming for our band. Absolutely overwhelming.
Do you think he speaks like that when he's just talking about cereal and stuff as well, like in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, the incredible suspension of cereal that you get in the milk is just so moving, and you have to give yourself to it 100%. Otherwise, you don't get the benefit of the. I mean, I'm a Frosty's pilgrim, but I've never experienced the level of sugariness that you get on those wonderful flakes. Yeah?
I think he does, yeah.
Okay, just checking there. And
so
then,
that was you two.
Yeah, because you would have to be quite a hardcore fan to be standing in that rain yesterday for that.
Oh my gosh,
especially after Mozza did a little bit of a grumpy set. Like he started off full of beans and then started getting a bit grumpy and saying, "Oh, you just want to see you too, do you?"
Yeah, I think he felt a little bit like.
Plus, he was up against Radiohead at the time, wasn't he?
Well, exactly, and I don't think he got as big an audience as he perhaps would have had Radiohead not been playing. So that maybe was a little bit frustrating for him. But shall we look ahead to today? Because there's plenty of great. So we've got just a couple of things to tell you about. Treetop Flies. These are the young guys who won the Glastonbury Emerging competition.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be on the other stage in about 20 minutes, half an hour, and I've been following them the last couple of weeks. They're sort of preparations to their first big Glastonbury, so they're definitely worth having a little look at if anyone can.
What sort of thing are they, Sinead? What sort of noises?
Little folk act. There's 5 of them, 4 on guitar, 1 on drums, and yeah, they're quite folky. They're lovely. A little bit Fleet Foxes maybe.
Right.
They're good though. Definitely worth them.
Are they those monkeys that jump between treetops?
They are,
Treetop
yes,
flies.
yes.
Yeah, they're actually the
They are.
And they can sing.
They can sing.
And play. That's
Yeah.
So you're dropping quite a massive bomb on us there.
Yes.
These are 4 monkeys who can sing.
Yeah.
And they can jump from tree to tree.
Yeah.
That's worth seeing.
That is worth
You're
seeing.
gonna have to
That's going to be fascinating following their preparations.
And they can play guitars. That is incredible.
It's been great for me. Elbow, of course, are on today before Coldplay, who are the big headliners tonight. Have you heard of Janelle Monáe? Have you seen her?
Sure. Oh, Lucy is a big fan of her, right,
well,
Lucy?
I've seen her before. That's brilliant. Her concept album about being a robot from the future.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to see that?
Listen, that's my heart pounding with excitement.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. It's pointless being 2 of us, really.
I'm going to be up at the Park stage again all day today. Wild Beasts are headlining up there, so and we've got Tame Impala on that stage. So that's great.
I love Wild Beasts. I'm looking forward to making all the animal noises when they're playing. Love it.
And finally, of course, we have another special guest today on the Park stage. As if the excitement of yesterday hasn't been enough to keep us all going today. So obviously it's not Radiohead again. Well, we don't think it is. Maybe Tom York will come again on his own. I don't know. But the other rumours are, again, could it possibly be the Kings of Leon maybe?
Right.
Pulp's another one in the mix.
I'm hoping that Matt Everett's going to get Menswear back together.
Well, yeah. Well, he hasn't been at the computer doing any work. I saw him, in a room privately on his own. So maybe
doing his hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got my fingers crossed for Bros.
Come on, Bros.
Come on, Bros.
Okay.
Your time is now.
Or the other thing it could be, Beyonce's apparently here all weekend, so
Right.
maybe she'll be getting the
Little
other
warm-up.
members of Destiny's Child back together.
Right. Come on, that would be amazing.
That could be it.
So, I mean, you can't go wrong there. And that
No.
mystery guest will be on...
7:45, and we'll be coming live from there at 7:45.
Fantastic.
Very
so you can find out
exciting.
who it is then.
Sinead, you're going to join us again tomorrow, right?
I am indeed.
Fantastic news gathering. Well done, Sinead.
Thank
yeah,
you.
good job. Take care out there. And right now, just in case we get to see them later on, you never know, here's Pulp with Sorted for Ease and Whiz.
A lot of people seem to have left an important part of their brain somewhere in a field in Hampshire.
It's a chilling ending to that song.
It's
Terrifying.
amazing, yeah. That was Pulp, of course, and we are going to be speaking to Jarvis, Six Music's very own Jarvis Cocker / lead singer of Pulp. I mean, that guy must be having the time of his life, don't you think?
I think so.
Living a wonderful double life. On the one hand, the urbane and superb host of his Sunday service. On the other hand, hip-swinging rock star, loved and adored by millions, and maybe, who knows, a guest here at Glastonbury. But perhaps we can pry him for info later on when we meet him.
Don't forget that Six Music is the place to hear all the latest news and music from Glastonbury. Steve Lamack is after us. Laverne is here. Stuart McConey is here. Don't know why I just called Laverne by her
It's
surname.
very matey, wasn't it?
It's very matey. And of course, Keris and Sean Keaveney will be up later with live music from the Crystal Castles.
And then Lamack will be back at 10 going... Actually, Steve might be in the shack over there
It's
listening
too late
to
for
this
that, mate.
go out live.
I've been doing it for 3 years now.
I know. He probably wants to
He's
punch
a
me in the
robust
face.
individual.
So, yes, stay tuned for all that. We're going to play some CeeLo Green in a second. And after that, you will hear what happened when we met lead singer of the Fleet Foxes, Robin Pecknold. Asked him about the Stevenage phenomenon and quizzed him on his Mountain Man credentials. That's coming up after CeeLo.
Hello listeners, we are here backstage at the other stage and we are very excited to be joined by Mr. Robin Pecknold, the lead singer of the Fleet Foxes. Hello Robin.
How's it going, man?
It's going well. We're very excited to meet you. We play your music a lot on our show. We're huge fans and we should start with a serious topic.
Okay.
Because we feel responsible for a certain amount of verbal vandalism that has happened at your shows for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and I'm of course talking to you about the Stephen phenomenon.
Yeah.
Can I call it a phenomenon? Is that self-aggrandizing?
It's an absolutely massive phenomenon that swept the world 3 years ago. It started as a kind of call and response on our program. You could shout Stephen to anyone in the street, and if they said, just coming, then you would know that they were fans of this program, of the Adam and Joe program on Six Music.
Mm-hmm.
But then it started getting shouted out at gigs, and I think the first time I was aware of that happening was Fleet Foxes fans texting us and saying, hey, there was a bit of Stevenage at the gig the other day, maybe at the Roundhouse 3 years ago?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, totally.
So were you aware of that happening, and is that a little confusing, first of all, when people start shouting things that you don't quite understand in the audience? Maybe you think that they're heckling you in some way?
Well, the first time it happened, it just sounded like somebody was looking for Steven.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, it was obviously like some form of meme that we weren't like totally aware of.
You weren't privy to.
Yeah. A couple times. But it also sounds a little bit like Freebird, so...
Freebird!
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you ever play that?
No.
Okay.
No.
We should apologise though, Robin. We're sorry on behalf of our listeners. We're sorry. I mean, we're 50% sorry. Well, let's say 51 or 2% sorry and 48 or 9% excited that we've somehow, we're like sort of...
infiltrated.
Petulant children throwing rocks at an adult, you know? We just wanted to have some effect. We're excited that we've had some sort of impact on a band we love.
It's better than indiscriminate shouting, you know, of any variety. And it happens to me on the street now too, just like, Steven! No.
Thank God for that. No, but I do feel a sense of responsibility, and part of me feels ashamed for the behaviour of our listeners. Some of me feels ashamed for our show in general, but...
Well, it's good because if there's because we'll tune a little bit between songs sometimes, so the wheels aren't totally greased at our shows all the time. So I think that stage silence makes people nervous, and then they want to say something. So it's better to have it fall back on the Steven thing than have it be "You guys suck," or like, you know.
We're launching the "You Guys Suck" meme next year, so you can look forward to that.
Yeah.
I am absolutely unequivocally delighted that we've invaded your mind space. I do think, though, that Stevenage is probably quite respectful. I bet they don't ruin the quiet parts of your songs with it, though, do they?
No, that would be insane.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm absolutely happy about it, and thanks for being so nice about it.
Robin, would you like it to stop?
No.
Really, because we can stop it.
Oh, you can?
We can,
you have control?
We think we can. Our listeners are very good people.
Do you think it's universally your listeners, or has it passed into a...
I think it's universally our listeners.
Yeah, okay.
It's localized.
Well, that's good to know, because then it's like...
It's not going to get out of hand. Totally. Yeah, well, if it gets out of hand, just let us know and we'll stop it. We can have listeners punished. The BBC is a national organisation. We can have listeners imprisoned.
Yeah.
Or so just let us know if that would help.
Yeah. Also, we can send out a very high frequency on the radio show which shuts that part of their brain down completely. They don't realise that yet, but we have that power, so it's all doable.
Sweet.
So, Robin, let's talk a little bit about where we are right now. We're in what appears to be a kind of exhibition conference centre that they've erected behind the other stage here at Glastonbury. Yeah. Is this typical of the kind of backstage area that you find at festivals?
Yes. It's very just sort of a something that's been constructed in the last 48 hours.
It's very much like one of the offices from the film Brazil.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is that what the rock world is like now, do you think? Or do you ever find yourself backstage in places that are bedecked with Indian... wall hangings and...
Well, the at Primavera Festival, it was the same kind of thing, but it was like these beautiful Spanish hardwood floors, like reclaimed wood or something.
Yeah.
So that was different. But it's never like a Pleasure Dome.
Right. And also, it seems particularly incongruous for you, a member of the Fleet Foxes, who for many people live in their imagination as sort of mountain men. Snowed in 365 days of the year, their beards intertwined as they harmonise with each other around the log fire, cooking up catfish on a skillet.
Now you're just reading from our bio.
And is that a world that is in any way reflective of how you grew up at all, or is it a complete world of mythology that you spun?
I feel like obviously like there's like an element of our appearance implies something, but and aside from like some lyrical content, obviously that's like naturalistic, a lot of it to me is just like personal stories. I mean, obviously we didn't grow up together, and I mean Sky and I grew up together, but we weren't like raised by wolves or anything. But I don't necessarily think the music is... I think there's like enough other content, like personal content there, that especially on this one, like I feel like all of it is just like my own thoughts on stuff, and it's not like necessarily trying to present something other than that.
Very little of it deals with actually catching beavers and muskrats.
Yeah, only 25% is
yeah, for the muskrat fans. And do you think there will ever come a time where you experiment with a radically different lyrical palette? I've got some very exciting ideas for how you could reach a whole new audience with the same kind of lovely tunes and your beautiful harmonising.
Yeah, Stephen.
A little bit of... you can have some Stevenage in there. But I've got some great ideas.
Adam's just unfolding his piece of paper, and Robin, I should preface this by saying Adam's a sensitive man.
Okay.
And he's been
I need to be receptive.
He's been working on this for a while. So please treat him gently. Any flippancy is not, it's very gentle. He's very gentle. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just filling. Here we go.
Good filling, Phil.
We wondered what would happen if you put lots of modern references into the Fleet Foxes material, so the under 15s connected, you know what I mean? Because this is what it's all about now. Chris Brown,
Text Me Back Something
Lady
Freaky.
Gaga, yes, lyrics that can be exactly put in texts, maybe more acronyms.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I've got an amazing singing voice, by the way. What might happen is you might hear me singing this and get quite intimidated, and your confidence will be shaken.
Yeah,
a little
we'll
bit,
have to cancel
because you'll realise there's someone out there who can do this a little bit better than I can, and he's also got a beard, and maybe I'm a bit of a fraud. So don't worry if you feel that, all right, man? So this is a slightly more modern version of He Doesn't Know Why. Will you be playing that song tonight?
No. Maybe.
Well,
maybe with these new
You
lyrics.
may want to.
Yeah.
After you hear this.
Okay.
I was writing tweets on my iPad too when I saw I got a new text message from you. Have you heard the new Lady Gaga tune? Gonna Spotify it later. OMG, I can't believe this amazing app. It takes everything you say and turns it into rap. I really love my new DS, but the 3D's crap. I play it on my skateboard.
And then you do the beautiful modern harmonic woobling after that. Yeah? Is that working?
Does anyone write songs like that?
Of course
Have you ever
they
heard
do.
a song like that?
Of all the rapping young rappers do.
All the young rappers do.
The young rapping rappers do.
I don't think I've ever heard a song.
Of course.
Even the newest Lady Gaga song, or the newest Justin Bieber. I don't think.
Justin Bieber, maybe not, but he's disconnected from the real
consumer
world.
electronics.
Yeah, but it's a gap in the market.
True.
We should listen. If you do decide to do that song, Robin, we'd like to give you these lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in no way are we expecting you to actually sing them. No.
No.
Because he's intimidated, you see, because I sung it too well. Well, I think we're going to let you go now.
Okay.
Now that we've tortured you enough. Do we have anything else we need to ask?
No, nothing else to say. Just that we love you and your music, and thank you for talking to us.
Yeah.
And on behalf of everyone who listens to our show, thanks for being so lovely about the Stevenage.
Oh, it's just part of it's part of the fabric of our lives.
Well, we apologise for that stinky bit of fabric. But thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, totally.
Have a good show tonight, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
Take care.
Fleet Foxes playing live yesterday at Glastonbury 2011. They were on the other stage. That was called Blue Ridge Mountains.
What a lovely chap he was.
Very
Mr.
nice.
Pecknold.
Much younger than you would expect, because they do sound like ancient mountain men. You expect them to, and also they sound wise. There's wisdom in those voices.
Yeah.
And he's very young, and it made me feel like even more of a Burke singing that song to him.
You did very well.
Oh, man.
I liked it when we asked him whether he was going to sing those lyrics, and there was a long pause.
It wasn't that long.
No.
You said no.
No.
I had this fantasy that he might have a guitar in his dressing room and he would play the song and then just sing the lyrics that I'd written. I don't know what I was thinking, but it didn't happen.
We can still dream.
Yeah, of course. Hey, how you doing, listeners? Very nice to be here with you. We're almost at the end of our show, but we've still got half an hour of fun coming your way. Don't forget, if you do want to email, or actually text would be the thing, wouldn't it? The number is 64046. And you can always email if you want to, adamandjoe.6music@bbc.co.uk, or maybe send messages to each other on Twitter at BBC Adam and Joe.
You know what? We'd love if you were there at the beginning of the show and part of Black Squadron and took a photo of the event. We'd love you to email that, adamandjoe.6music@bbc.co.uk, and maybe in place of the Black Squadron Command blog this week, we will have your photos from the live Black Squadron event happening.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to listen to the show tomorrow, we'll figure out some kind of command for the squadroners at home as well.
A Sunday morning command?
I think we should, yeah.
Whoa.
Because it's going to be our last squadron command for quite some time.
Okay.
Anyway, it's gone 12:30 now, and time for the news. You too. They were headlining the Pyramid Stage yesterday at Glastonbury, and that was I Will Follow. The thing about the exhortations of Bonio and many other singers when they reach a certain age is that whereas once they sounded like cries of youth and excitement and energy, now it sounds like they're sort of running out of breath, reaching for the coffee in the cupboard.
He was doing a good job. They all look quite youthful. He was moving around the place.
Was he wearing... I didn't even see them. Was he wearing crazy glasses or anything?
Was he wearing... I can't remember. He was wearing his little exciting leather motorbike man outfit. And he was bopping around. At one stage, he appeared to be making... sort of love-making gestures towards the audience.
Was he?
At another stage, he fought Edge's guitar like he was a bull. He put his fingers up either side of his head and sort of charge the guitar.
Yeah.
But he looked pretty nimble. The only one giveaway to the fact that he was getting old was someone had let the air out of his buttocks. They were a little bit sort of what's that Michael Douglas film where you get a shocking sort of shot of his bum?
Oh,
like a couple of hot water bottles.
Yes, the Sharon Stone one.
Yeah.
That's totally gone out of my Basic Instinct.
Yeah,
yes.
There you go. It was a tiny bit like that. But other than that was just because he was wearing very tight leather.
Yeah.
And there weren't many,
I think it'd be good if he had one of those little tiny mini motorcycles that...
a mini moto?
Yeah, and just rode around that with his...
That would be good.
With his leather chap sticking out of the side there.
Yeah, that would be good.
It would be good. You're looking confused, but it would be good.
No, his what? Sticking out the what?
His leather chap sticking out the side.
Right, yeah.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
His chaps. And he would charge at the edge like that. I mean, it's not dignified behaviour, I was going to say, but then I thought coming from us, that would be the pot calling the kettle back. And that takes us in to Acorns.
Somebody's been eardropping on me, and now I'm suffering their strings and arrows, can't you see? I was standing on the curve like a jester of goodwill, but now I'm curled up in the feeble position still, cause of my acorns. When it comes to acorn business, acorns. I'm like Farmer Hecking Christmas. Acorns. The pot will call the kettle back, acorns. Cause it's an acorn attack.
And now, here at the Adam and Joe Show on Six Music, we love language, we love words, don't we, Adam?
Yeah, mainly juvenile smutty words.
Yeah, and also wrong ones, things that people get wrong. We like to call them acorns, and here are some acorns.
I mean, we didn't christen them acorns.
Yeah, but I'm making it sound like we did.
Okay, good one.
Have you got one?
Yeah, here's one from Ian Roth. He's an Englishman living in Australia, mate.
Mate, we got a lot of Aussie listeners.
I tell you, we should go... If someone is listening out there in Oz, and you are a rich person, fly us out, bruv.
Yeah,
we'll go out there and do a show for you, no problem.
We would blend in perfectly.
We would totally blend in, mate.
It's almost as if we pick the Australian ones just to give an excuse to do the amazing accents.
I know I do. So Ian Roth, he's an Englishman, though, living in Australia. He says, "Hi, Ads and J-Pod. Great egg corn from my female colleague at work today during a rant about one of her Facebook friends who has slightly non-PC views of the world. She said in a rather exasperated manner, 'God, her stupid status updates really ruffle my goat.' Love you, bye.
Get my goat, ruffle my feathers.
Right, exactly.
Ruffle my goat. Maybe he has a little goat on a string who is very sensitive to linguistic errors.
And a goat would hate to be ruffled, I think.
Goats hate it. They hate like cats who hate being stroked in the wrong direction.
Ooh, yeah, imagine. And their goat would be twice as bad.
Even though a good thing to do with a cat is stroke it in the wrong direction quite a lot, get it quite angry, and then do one big one the right way. And then it goes...
and calm it right down.
Oh, thanks. They love it. Here's one from Gregory, which is spelt Greggry. Gregory P. Savage. He says, "Dearest Signorina Buxton and Mademoiselle Jojo.
Correct.
I used to work for a local authority's debt recovery department, and one of my colleagues, an elder lady who had the look of a miniature Patricia Routledge and the voice of the Queen, not yours, Adam.
Oh, no.
Not yours, Adam, once came out with a cracking acorn. She was on the phone talking to a debtor who'd been making sporadic payments towards his arrears. 'The problem is, Mr. Smith,' she said in her cut-glass imperious voice, 'you've been baking..." Whoa, hello, I did one there. "You've been making your payments very, very erotically." My colleagues and I promptly fell off our chairs and laughed solidly for 11.5 minutes. "Hope you use this. Love you. Bye." We did. How would you make an erotic payment? Don't answer that question. Move on to the next one.
Oh, there's so much you could say about slots and cards and fun things like that. Asher, he's a mailman, 32, from London, says, "Hi, Adman and Josephus. Just got an email from a teacher who states that they're just, quote, creating a school blog where Voxpox can be added." Which puts me in mind of little pustules spouting opinions. So, on reflection, maybe that works as intended. Love you, bye, Asher.
Like how to get ahead in advertising.
Little Vox
He's
pox.
got some pox that have voxes, doesn't he, in that film? Here's one from Peter Brooks in Tunbridge Wells. "Dear Adam Buxton and Joe Cornish, brackets, I'm traditional and I like it.
I like it.
On the subject of egg corns, a friend was describing his battle with a British-based telecoms company and their flimsy flopsy service. When describing how they had legally broken their own terms and conditions, he remarked, "They stabbed themselves in the back." Cue much humour between ourselves before we corrected him. "That's not too bad, is it? Shoot yourself in the foot." stab someone else in the back.
Yeah.
Stabbing yourself in the back.
And that's quite a good concept, to stab yourself in the back.
Yeah.
But that would imply that you were betraying yourself.
Yeah. That's good. That's deep, that one, Peter. I mean, it's not necessarily funny. It's just a thinking point.
Well, that sums up this show in a in a nutshell.
Something to think about.
Not necessarily funny, but something to think about. Here's one more from me, and this one is not even necessarily an eggcorn, but it made me chuckle. Hi, Adam S. and Corn King. This is not a true eggcorn, just an odd thing my boss used to say, says Joe, a mailman. And Joe says, when working in a gift-type shop in Brighton, my boss would always use the word syndrome at the end of a sentence. For example, sorry I'm late, the washing machine broke and flooded the kitchen floor. Syndrome! Or, I can't believe how rude that last customer was. Syndrome! I started counting how many times she would use the phrase in a day. I once counted 25 occurrences. It got annoying, and I had to get a new job. To this day, I cannot work out why she said it and where she got it from. It makes no sense to me. Syndrome!
So it's a she, but she talks like that.
Yeah, I'm imagining like quite a big, chunky, feisty woman. She's going around just adding syndrome to the end of each sentence.
That could catch on. Let's hope it doesn't.
Come on, syndrome! That's it for me for Eggcorns.
That's it for me for Eggcorns as well, I think.
All right, Eggcorns, let's play some music now. This is Little Dragon. They were playing the West Holtz stage yesterday.
I like Little Dragon a lot. They were one of my picks for the festival this year.
They've got unusual hair. I mean, look at their Red Dragon action.
They've got a great video for one of their singles where they wear little green lights on their heads and they're shot silhouetted, and I watched it for reference for my film.
Oh, that's a fun fact for film fans there. This is Little Dragon. Jenny and Johnny, they were playing yesterday on the Park stage. Jenny is, of course, Jenny Lewis of Rilo. Jenny.
Whenever anyone's called Jenny, I love to say it with the CH. Jenny.
Jenny, like a kind of a German Jenny.
Yes, Jenny.
That's nice. Rilo Kiley are one of those bands that pop up a lot on Bob Dylan's Theme Time Radio Hour. He's clearly in love with with Jenny. She's a nice bit of rock tortoise morsel.
Yes, she's a lovely, crisp, fresh piece of rock leaf.
Well, that's pretty much it for our show today from Glastonbury, ladies and gentlemen, and it's been really fun. We're going to go back out there now and hook up with the Squadron.
Yeah, if there might nobody.
Oh well, there's actually a band playing now, so the Squadron might not be able to find us.
But they might. We're going to record our in and out links for the podcast out there amongst the Squadron. Hopefully, if anybody turns up. But thank you so much for listening today, listeners, and massive thank you to everybody in the Squadron who was here at Glastonbury, who turned up for our event at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. What are we going to do the rest of the afternoon? We're going to talk to Jarvis. We're going to hook up with the Wild Beasts.
We're going to go for a wander. We're going to collect some mystery Glastonbury sound.
I'm on a sushi mission. I'm going to try and locate some sushi.
You might have to go further than you've ever gone before in rougher conditions.
It's not ideal sushi territory, but I'm convinced there's some sushi out there to be snaffled by Buckles. I'm going to try that. A little worried about the lavies out there. I mean, you would think that the lavies would be in a terrible state. Even the BBC lavvy has suffered some kind of flood, and the Blue Loo water that they use, the special disinfectant water,
Blue Loo water. That's a new shopping centre they're building nearby.
It's now all over the porta cabin floor for the lavies.
You love your loos.
I do love it.
You love
loos. It's not too bad because it smells nice. It's a little bit as if there's been a fight between the Na'vi people of Avatar.
And they've bled blue blood.
And they've bled all over the lav.
Yes.
The Na'vi and the Lavi.
Yes, well, that's what Blue Loo Water, the shopping centre, is for. It's mainly for Na'vi immigrants who've come to Britain.
It's not good, though, to have a segregated shopping centre like that.
Nah, it just sells very specific stuff.
A lot of unobtainium. Spears and wristbands. Talk more about it.
I can't.
Oh, what we got coming up on Six Music, though?
All sorts of exciting things coming up on Six Music. For instance, directly after us, you will have the pleasure of listening to Steve Lamack, who is here with Elbow and Badly Drawn Boy. Lauren Laverne coming up at 2 with Big Boy. Stuart McConey is here from 5 with live music from Big Audio Dynamite and Graham Coxon. Keris Matthews and Sean Keaveney are here with live music from Crystal Castles.
Hey, we bumped into Professor Brian Cox this morning.
We did.
And imagine if Coxon and Cox got together and there would be a kind of amazing supernova of rock and science.
I met him at a party. Did I say that on air? I met him at a party. He was a little bit tooty.
Was he?
Tiny bit drunk. And then I said hello to him this morning, hoping he would remember me. I don't think he did.
Got nothing.
I got blanked because he was out of his. He was in the booze universe.
Yeah, he was out there floating around in space. If he had met me at that party, he would have.
Of course he would.
Yeah.
Of course he would.
Yeah, he absolutely loves me. Not so much you. Now we're going to play you out, folks, with one of the big acts from yesterday's Glastonbury lineup, and that's Morrissey, of course. And he is looking increasingly like someone's handsome father.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the nicest possible way. He entertained the crowd with a number of Smith's hits as well as his own big smashes. And here is a big Morrissey smash. It's Irish Blood, English Heart, live, recorded yesterday live, not live now, from the Pyramid Stage.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Good time to end the show. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow.
Broken.
10 a.m. live from Glastonbury.
Yeah,
Please tune in.
Take care. Love you. Bye.